Well, you see, the last recording, to me at present, it's momentous. And it came about because of the dilemma I was in. That two people at the same time see me as their solution to their loneliness and unhappiness. And I'm not. The only true solution can be God. In each case, their God. The only true solution is devotion to their God. And the only solution to me in the dilemma of causing the unhappiness of each one if I was devoted to the other. The only solution was that I was devoted to God, that I be devoted to God, that I'm still therefore a true friend to both, not a husband. Do you see? My answer has always been to be the husband to the maiden in distress. This at one stroke, of course, made all men inferior, because I can't be a wife to the men that are in distress. I'm here as a man. And then, of course, at one stroke it cast off all other women, because I'm husband to this woman. And we know I can't be husband to many women. That's not the answer. That's just not the answer for them. Because the answer for all of us is devotion to God, the first commandment. And you can't enter heaven without that, because you'll just be a menace to everyone else there. Your love will be, your devotion will be misfocused and cause havoc. Well, but for their determination to be utterly prioritized in God. It is that which is our salvation, not devotion to one of the other children, our brothers and sisters or friends, because that excludes every other, by definition, and is not appropriate. Our devotion is to God, and in doing that, we are a blessing to all. If you wish truly to be a blessing to all, then you will be devoted to your God, who is devoted to all his children. And so we bring the welfare of our brothers and sisters rightly into the eternity of heaven. And we are a true blessing to them, not just what they mistakenly want, perhaps at present, until they're touched by your devotion to God too. And do likewise. Put God first. So, dear one, remember with all your heart, when you're faced with a dilemma, thank God for it. Rest it in him. Remind yourself of your focus and devotion to him, and you'll find you have the answer to your previous dilemma. That it was not a dilemma at all, but an incredible blessing to propel you into our heavenly Dad's embrace. eternally in his eternal family as an adult now, not a child, and in the right place for such an adult. Heaven, not here on earth, or presumably even in this universe of time and change and matter and good and evil and uncertainty. And our solution here, faith, of course, trust. Faith and trust in him, your heavenly dad. That's your solution to not knowing him. And not only that, it is your solution in becoming an adult and to know him perfectly and forever. This is life eternal, to know thee, the only true God. And so you will have graduated, grown up from being a child here to being appropriately in your place in heaven. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you, I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go, I shall come again to receive you to myself, that where I am, you may be also. In heaven, you see, not here. We are strangers now in the world. We have matured. This is a very heady thing to say, isn't it? Sounds anything but humble. But it's the goal of being here, to graduate out of here to heaven. I don't mean by some appalling suffering like crucifixion. I mean by realization that the only way to all coming to heaven is by being devoted to God, not focused by being devoted on children, but on God. And what happens in heaven? Are we allowed to be devoted on individuals in heaven? No, of course not. It's not appropriate and not needed, not wanted, not fulfilling that awful nagging need that you have on earth, because there's no loneliness in heaven. All are adults devoted to God. All do the right thing, therefore, because they're devoted to God, not because they're devoted to you. That can be the only condition of being in heaven, as far as I can see. What do you think? Have I got it wrong? I could have. Remember, I'm not the teacher. I'm sent only to say what Jesus said. He calls God Dad, Abba. We come back to that. If I'm sent to do anything, it's only to say that. Nothing else will do. Not rescuing people by becoming their eternal faithful spouse. Your children, you're not up to that. All you are up to is putting God first, in trust, and keep returning to that, trusting in putting him first, and you will mature extremely quickly in spiritual terms. And now I'm back to teaching, aren't I? Might not be quick. Might take a necessarily long time. I don't know. I'm not some God-given guru. I'm only sent. Sent to do what? Only what Jesus did. Oh, you say, but in the story he walked on the water, healed the sick, and had words of eternal wisdom, and so on and so on. Look, you're worshipping the messenger. The story is neither here nor there, only the essence, which is something in your language to say, see God as Dad. Am I worshipping then this basic point only? Have I narrowed down loving God and loving all and caring for all to simply seeing God as Dad? I think I may have done. Is that a mistake? Well, it might be. After all, everything is a bit uncertain here, isn't it? But my experience here has been that that's the only sure way. What's your experience? I've simply proclaimed that I see God as Dad, that that's my purpose. Do I do it perfectly? No, of course not. I'm a child while I'm here, as far as I know. It's not that my trust is in that I'm now a great teacher or guru. Well, is your trust in being sent? Not entirely, no. Because I'm a child, as far as I know. But my trust is that this is the message of the Jesus story. That you see God as Dad, and then you get everything right. What do you think? What you think is everything. Can I tempt you to think this way too? Is it worth finding out if it's a blessing? I mean, you're here for a little while. You've got time to practice. Seeing if putting God first is the answer to all your problems. And if it isn't, well, no doubt you'll search on for something else, perhaps rather disillusioned and unhappy, but at least you'll have found out, perhaps. Although you may always have the nagging suspicion that you could have done it better. Should I give it another shot? Have you got time to? Oh, well, good. We'll do that then. It seems a good idea, doesn't it? Do what you think is best. Bless you. And I think you are blessed because your Heavenly Dad loves you. And I'm not to be the teacher, right? Please, for God's sake, don't put me first. Put God first. I think that is your answer. And I trust that that's your answer. But so what? You need to know if you trust to make this your answer and find out accordingly. Bless you. Thank you, Heavenly Dad.